I'm Tim Yandow. I'm one of the residential program managers here at Efficiency Vermont. I'm joined this morning by Bryn Oakleaf, our um, Efficiency Excellence Network program manager. Um, and I'm broadcasting live from my lovely basement apartment in St. George, Vermont. And I'm going to talk with you this morning about our newly constructed new construction program. This is our single family. We're focusing primarily on our single family market rate program, um, which, as a lot of you know, have undergone a lot of changes over the last few years. And I wanted to give an update on where that program is now, and the services and um, product offerings that we have on offer now. So I'm primarily going to spend a lot of the time just talking about the program itself, go over a little bit of background to provide some context of where the program has come and where it is now, who's eligible, how to join in, and then at the end also talk a little bit about um, some code compliance support services that we have in play right now through our Energy Code Professionals program, which is being funded right now with a DOE grant. So to start out with, I just wanted to level set really quickly for those of you who are not familiar with Efficiency Vermont. We are a state-regulated energy efficiency utility. So our focus is on saving electrical power. That is basically our currency is megawatt hours. Vermont's electrical portfolio, 15% of that is comprised of efficiency. And we're able to deliver that electricity at about 79% of the cost of what it would cost to supply new electricity. So efficiency is obviously in our name, and what we're focused on primarily megawatt hours and to a lesser degree MMBTUs, thermal savings. So just thought I would throw that in there just in case uh, there are some of you out there that are not familiar with what our primary focus is, which is saving electrical energy. A lot of you also know that the state's climate action plan is moving towards everything being built in the built environment being net zero ready by 2030. And the code our energy code pretty much reflects this now. So these are lower energy load, higher efficiency, tighter homes and buildings now that can be more easily powered with renewables to meet that net zero goal of having a building being able to cover its own energy needs. So a lot of our focus in the residential new construction program is to support buildings heading in the net zero ready direction. So in the past, I joined here at Efficiency Vermont in 2021. I've only been here a little less than 4 years. But well before that, we had a residential new construction program that was really focused on a prescriptive approach of meeting one of two different building standards, EVT 2.0 and our high performance standard. And our incentives were based on if you met those prescriptive measures, you were eligible for the incentive. We provided a lot of technical support through our energy consultants to help you meet those specifications, work out any bugs in your plans, do design review. We also provided energy ratings or a HERS score as part of that service. So we did a pre-drywall inspection, final inspection, issued a HERS rating and certificate, helped you fill out the residential building energy standard certificate, and so forth. There was a whole suite of services. And then those services were both for market rate and for our low income program. Which in this case, our low income program has continued along the same track. but we changed tracks and approaches with our market rate program. So that program uh, basically went along very nicely for many years. And what we saw as a result of projects enrolled in our program was a steady decline in HERS scores. So in this case, the lower the score, the more energy efficient the home. And also a steady decrease in air infiltration in the home. So as builders were getting better and better at building tighter homes, we saw this reflected in the data. This, I think, well, it really needs updating, but that trend has continued. Basically, we're seeing lower air infiltration rates and lower HERS scores in the homes that are participating in our program. So we take that as a success, and we're continuing to focus on that, but with a different format. The incentives that we offered at that point for our EVT 2.0, which is basically where the code is right now. We offered a $2,500 incentive for the high performance track, which was a stricter, higher performing home, 3,000. And if the home was all electric, there was another $1,000 bonus added to that. Again, we included ratings, um, helped you fill out the RB certificate, and provided whatever technical support you needed. And we decided, in large part because that's a very energy and staff intensive program to run, was basically to sunset that program as we knew it at the end of 2021. Continuing that on the low income program as it was, but sunsetting the market rate program at that point. And so in January 2022, we wrote out an entirely new format for the program that focused more on specific measures. And initially, those measures were drain water heat recovery and whole home ventilation, which at that time was not required by code as it is now. The other big change that we made in the program was to shift away from um, homeowners and builders and focusing all of our services and incentives on the building community. So EEN, so the Efficiency Excellence Network, RNC trade group members and architects were our primary focus and the folks who are eligible for these incentives, and no longer focusing on allowing homeowners to enroll a project. They would need to work with an EEN builder or architect in order to be eligible to take advantage of these. At the beginning here, a fairly modest set of incentives. We did also, we sunset EVT 2.0 and high performance, and we came up with a single new standard, what we're calling Home Certification 3.0, or actually what we're calling now our 3.0 Standard of Excellence. I'll share the details of that with you in a moment. But we did away with the incentive around that, and also for some reason decided to not have a project enrollment process. So we're pretty much handed the whole program over to our EEN builders to self-verify that they were complying with the 3.0 standard if you were wanted to build to that, and also verifying if you were interested in the measure level incentives that that you installed those, that you had the invoices and supporting documentation, and for the whole home ventilation that it was on our qualified products list. We did continue to provide technical support. However, because we were no longer out in the field doing ratings, we really lost one of our main contact points with all of you out in the field, and that really had a big impact on the program. This is our EVT Standard of Excellence build spec. Again, this is 3.0. It's not as stringent as the high performance, but it's a higher level of performance than the old 2.0. So it isn't above code. It's a really solid prescriptive standard. And the details of that, we have a guide that's posted on the web page that goes into more detail about what this prescriptive standard is. And again, Our ECs are here to help you if you're interested in building to the standard to make sure that you'll meet the criteria. So we rolled out this new program in early 2022, and what we saw pretty much immediately was a pretty dramatic drop off in participation, and a lot of feedback from the building community, basically saying, um, this just really isn't worth the effort anymore. The value proposition really isn't there. You're not really on site anymore. There was sort of the perception that EVT had sort of disappeared from the market, even though we were still very much available to provide technical support. But because of the lack of doing ratings anymore and no longer having an enrollment process, we didn't really even know what projects were going on out there until folks were actually submitting a rebate form um, to receive incentives, unless they had contact us ahead of time. So we saw this dramatic drop off in participation and a lot of feedback like this that basically was saying, hey, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. We're not really that interested in participating. And again, that was really reflected in the data. Um, Now we do have, I think, over 75 builders who are part of the efficiency. Um, we have seen more engagement recently with the rollout of the new program. Um, but we looked at all this and really said, okay, we got to do something here. This is not working. There's no project enrollment. We don't really know what's going out there and going on out there. And from a program manager perspective, it made it very difficult for me to sort of manage the pipeline, for us to provide support to our EEN members because we didn't know what they were doing. The fact that we are no longer doing ratings, and that if you wanted to do a rating as a pathway for code compliance or to comply with our 3.0 standard, you had to hire a third-party rater. Again, that main point of contact really was lost with this program change. Um, the value proposition of the incentives really was quite poor. And all of these things combined made technical access a little bit more difficult. Basically, you needed to contact us if you wanted technical support from us. And a lot of people found the program structure kind of confusing and less flexible. So we heard you, we took a lot of market feedback and basically over the last 2 years, myself and our team here really worked on restructuring the program to where it is today, which rolled out on April 1st, just this last month. So the first thing we did was to reinstitute a project enrollment process. So this is like what we had in the past. You go to our website, you go to the service page and new construction and renovation, and there's all the information about the program there. And at the bottom of that page, you can enroll a project um, in the program, and then it's on our radar. And once you do that, you will then receive a call from whoever your either account manager or energy consultant is to talk about your project. So we really wanted to kind of reconnect the dots and create at the very early stages of your project a contact point so that we're really engaging with you and that we can really provide you the best service possible. Um, The thing that we've done is that we've made this program not just available to EEN architects and RNC trade group members, but also to homeowner builders. They sort of got left out of the program as well. And as long as they meet the RB's definition of what a homeowner builder is, and that's defined in the code, then they would qualify. They don't need to join the EEN, but we'll provide technical support and incentives to those folks who are basically building their own home. And it needs to be their home and they need to be driving the project. So we made that available. Um, Prior to this, um, we did have a rater rebate to help offset the cost of hiring a rater. It was up to 50% of the cost, up to $750. Now it's a flat rate. And that was only for homes that were seeking certification or our Standard of Excellence certificate. Now this rater incentive is available for any project. So if you enroll a project and you're just building that house to code, and you want to hire a rater, both to look at the performance of your home, but also as probably the most flexible means of complying with the code, you're eligible for this $750 rater rebate, which basically will cover about half the cost of hiring a third-party rater. And we can help set you up with a rater if you're already not teamed up with one. So again, this is for code compliance, and also it's required if you want to build a 3.0 standard of excellence home. Same thing with the all-electric incentive. So before, this was only available if you were building a 3.0 home, and it was all electric. Now any home is eligible. So if you're building at least to code and the home is all electric, you're eligible for this $1,000 bonus, along with the rater rebate. So we wanted to build in some flexibility, and not have it locked in specifically to meeting a specific build standard. Again, you have to at least meet the code to qualify. And then along with the drain water heat recovery, which we increased to $500, and the balanced ventilation incentive, which is a flat $750 if the equipment is on our qualified products list, and I'll get into that in a little bit. We've also added 2 new measure level incentives, which I'm really excited about. One is for triple pane windows. So $100 a window, up to 25 windows, so up to $2,500. We do not have a qualified products list for this, and we do not require a maximum U factor for the window, so any triple pane window will qualify for this. Again, we're wanting to encourage the incorporation of triple pane windows into the construction of homes, not just from an energy efficiency standpoint, but also from a comfort standpoint. If any of you have been in homes or built homes with triple pane windows, you know that there's a really big difference in the comfort in those homes. And the other measure level incentive that we have added is really kind of the first of its kind, which is a low global warming potential insulation materials incentive. So this involves a little bit of math, which we have a calculator in-house that we can use to help you make this calculation. But if you are using a lot of low embodied carbon insulation in your home and you meet one of 2 thresholds that are based on kilograms CO2e per square foot, you are eligible for one of 2 incentives. Tier 1 at 500, if you're between 0.1 and 0.5 kilograms CO2e per square foot, or if you're carbon negative or neutral, there's a $1,000 incentive available for that. And again, we can help with that calculation with the little calculator that we have. And we've also reintroduced a whole home incentive. So if you're building a home to our 3.0, we have reintroduced a $3,000 incentive back into the fold of all the incentives that we're offering. We got a lot of feedback from builders basically saying they really missed that. They felt it was valuable. A lot of builders offered that to their clients to help offset a little bit of the cost of building a new home. So in summary, this is the list of our current offerings. So 4 measure level incentives: drain water heat recovery, which is 50% of the cost of the equipment up to 500. Whole home ventilation that's on our qualified products list, which is searchable and on our website. Triple pane windows at $100 a window, up to 25 windows. Our low GWP insulation 2-tier incentive, our whole home incentive for EVT 3.0 standard of excellence at $3,000, and our rater incentive and all electric incentive as well. So again, these are available for any project. It doesn't have to be a 3.0 home. can be just built to code or any standard above that. And if you add them all up, it's quite a bit more substantial amount. Again, you can mix and match and stack these incentives any way you want. Um, at the Once you enroll your project and you talk with your EC or account manager about it, we'll help you identify what incentives you're interested in, so that you can take advantage of those. So I'm just gonna do a quick little pause before I actually get into the details of the measure level incentives to see if there's any questions or if anything in the chat, Bryn, that you see.
Nothing in the chat yet, but want to just again encourage anybody that has a question to raise your hand, or we can put you off mute, or put your questions in the chat. We'll make sure we get to them. But so far, so good, Tim.
Okay. And I'm intelligible even though I'm recovering from a cold.
You're doing well.
Okay.
Internet's a little
I,
slow, but other than that,
yeah. All right. Well, I haven't had a coughing fit yet, so I'll take that
there you
as
go. There you go.
a win. Yep. Okay. Um, just going a little bit into each of these measure level incentives, I just wanted to remind folks that these measure level incentives are also aligned with the points table of our current code. So not only can you access some dollars from EVT for these, but you also gain points um, from the table for utilizing any of these measures. In the case of drain water heat recovery, it's 1 point on the table. Again, it's 50% of the cost of the equipment up to $500. For whole home ventilation, that is now required by code. We do have a qualified products list, and the requirements of the equipment are spelled out here. So the equipment needs to have it be cold climate tested, have a minimum sensible recovery efficiency of 75%, and a minimum 2 CFM per watt. That's sort of one criteria, or it could be 80% SRE cold or a minimum 1.7 CFM per watt, which is sort of a default for equipment that has an ECM motor in it, which is a more efficient, electrically efficient motor in the equipment. And again, you can gain points by putting in these higher efficient mechanical ventilation in your home, which is reflected here in the points table. The embodied carbon and insulation, this is also in the points table. You can either gain a point by just doing the calculation, showing what the embodied carbon in your building is. There's no threshold that you're trying to meet, or you could meet one of these two tiers. So the tiers that we have for these incentives directly reflects what's in the code on the table. So if you're between 0.1 and 0.5 kilograms CO2e, you're eligible for the $500 incentive and 2 points from the points table. Or if you're carbon neutral or negative, 3 points and a $1,000 incentive. Um, Same thing with if you're building to the 3.0 standard, there are lots of points that you can gain by building this above code standard that are in the points, including triple pane windows. The lower the U factor, the more points that you gain. In terms of the incentive, there's no difference. Again, we don't have a maximum U factor for triple pane windows, and we're not managing a qualified products list for triple pane windows. But again, all of our incentives align with the points table, and you can gain points and also some dollar incentives by incorporating these measures into your projects. Again, here's the build spec. We have a more detailed document on the website that you can access that goes into each of the different components of the envelope. But we are, one thing I really want to point out here is that because we are no longer providing ratings for to verify the standard, this is really through both self-attestation by the person enrolled in the program. There's a checklist that you have to fill out when you're submitting for a rebate, and we do require a rating from a rater. So we ask that we receive both the rating certificate, but also the rating file from your rater. It's one of the things that we ask permission from the enrollee is to have your rater send us the file, because it's how we calculate our custom savings. So we can calculate our savings claim for that justifies the incentive that we're offering. Um, and just like anything else, you can build to our standard RVs. It's a great home. It's basically a zero-ready home, or you can build to our higher standard. You can see it's more robust, more durable, stronger. Uh, it's really a great build standard. If you're interested in, yes, it costs a little bit more, but you're really building a really sound, durable home that really follows building science principles really, really very nicely. And again, our energy consultants are available to help walk you through all the incentives, any technical needs that you have for your project, whether it's looking at your building envelope design, your foundation insulation, roof design, mechanicals, whatever it is, we can help review and troubleshoot all aspects of your projects. So who's eligible? Again, these incentives and services are focused on our Efficiency Excellence Network members. So that's our residential new construction trade group and architect trade groups. And also for qualified homeowner builders as defined in RBs. And if you're not already part of the Efficiency Excellence Network, you can go to our website, find out all the benefits of becoming an EEN member. There are a number of them, including deeply discounted passes to our annual Better Building by Design conference, and all kinds of training opportunities, um, and networking and market differentiation by being a member of our network. Again, if you go to the website, you'll see we have a number of trade groups. The ones that are eligible for the RNC services are architects and home builders. And those are both listed and highlighted here. So how does this work? First thing you want to do if you're interested in participating in the program, if you're not a homeowner builder, then we welcome you to join either the RNC trade group or the architect trade group. Again, and I'll have the QR code for that in the next slide, so that'll be in the slide deck. So join the EEN. Once you've done that and you have a project that you're ready to embark on, you can enroll your project. That would be step 2. Again, by going to the website and filling out the enrollment form. We encourage you to do this as early on in the project as possible. The earlier, the better. If you have projects that are ongoing now that have not completed yet, this program, the effective date of this program is January 1st of this year. So if you're wrapping up a program right now and you may be eligible for some of these incentives, go ahead and enroll your project. And we'll look and see what you might be eligible for. Ideally, it's great to enroll the project really early on so we can talk about what your project needs are, what incentives you're interested in, so that you're on our radar and we can provide the best support possible for your project and your customer. Once you've enrolled, a few days after you enrolled, you will receive a call from your account manager or your energy consultant to talk about your project. Again, talk about what your needs are, what incentives you're interested in. and then they will be able to provide whatever technical support you need throughout your project. It may be that you're only interested in accessing the radar incentive. That's fine. So there won't be a lot of need from your energy consultant. Or it could be, hey, we want to build our first certified home. We're going to need a lot of help here. So we can provide uh, a low touch to a very high touch in terms of the services that we provide for your project. And that is available ongoing throughout your project. Build it, build the home. Let us support you every step of the way. As you get towards the end of your project, your energy consultant will provide you with a pre-populated rebate form. Um, the rebate form we've decided to not post on the website to avoid confusion. So this is only available for folks who have enrolled in the program. We'll provide the rebate form to you with the project number and the information that you've given to us ahead of time, including where your project is, who you are. You can complete that rebate form and submit that to us for payment. So join the EN, enroll your project, work with your EC, build the home, submit your rebate form. That is the basic project flow. Here's the QR code to join the Efficiency Excellence Network. So that'll be in the slide deck. If you go to the Efficiency Vermont website and you go to services and renovations and renovation and construction, it will bring you to our new web page, our residential new construction page. There's a section at the very beginning for homeowners that talks about good building practices, things to really think about, and how to participate, what the offerings are, and how homeowners can participate in our program through an EEN builder or architect. Further down, there's a section for builders and architects, and I've highlighted here a number of documents, including the program overview, the 3.0 building guide, which goes through all the details of meeting that specification, and what's required to build an all-electric home and qualify for that $1,000 incentive. I do want to say in regard to the 3.0 build standard, it is a prescriptive standard, and our hope is that you will meet all of the specifications in that standard. There may be situations where you don't meet check off every single box. But we want to be flexible in those cases. So we will work case by case with you. I mean, if you're like, I'll give you a good example. A home that's being built right now that's clearly an above code, it's meeting the standards, except for the fact that on the south side of this house, they're putting really high quality double pane windows in instead of all triple panes in the window in the building. In the past, that would be a disqualifier. But again, we want to build in some flexibility into the program. And so we have other means of qualifying based on the actual performance of the building. And that's something that we're working on defining what that criteria is. So if you look at the build spec and you're like, well, I'm not sure I'm going to meet every single one of these things, enroll your project anyway. We'll work with you to see if we can get it up to the standard so that you would qualify for that $3,000 incentive and the certificate that comes with it. At the bottom of the service page, it talks about, again, how to join the trade groups, RNC, and the architect trade group, and how to enroll your project. There is a button here if you think you have a project that is income qualified, a low income project, that's a separate enrollment button that you push. But for this standard market rate program, if you either click the enroll a standard project button or just scroll to the bottom of that page, you can enroll your project on that page. That'll get sent to our implementation team, and you will, within a few days, receive a call from your EC. Okay, just going to pause again before I get into the last part. Just curious if there's anything that's popped up in the chat or if anyone has any questions so far.
Hey, Tim, just an earlier question about eligibility. How would one go about finding a HERS rater?
So we have a list of a short list of HERS raters that we can send to you. Um, and I don't actually, we do not have that posted on our website right now. So probably the thing to do would be just to contact me, or if you have an assigned energy consultant that you're working with here, contact them and we can get names of folks to you. We are in the process this year of developing an EEN group for raters, so we will have them. They will be more accessible on the website. Hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have that in place, so you can access those raters. There aren't a lot of them. I think maybe there's half a dozen in the state. We're hoping that that will grow over time, but we can get that information to you.
Yeah, definitely. And if you have interest in becoming a HERS
Um,
rater, let us know. We'd be happy to support you in
yes, that's
getting
this
that
that will
certification.
yes, and we will have some financial incentives available, as we had done in a pilot a couple of years ago. So that if that is something you're interested in, let us know. Um, the last thing I wanted to talk about is the code, which I know all of you are aware of. That code was updated as of July of 2024 of last year. Um, it is basically a zero energy ready code. There's a lot to it. And we do have quite a lot of energy code support available. This is our main energy code support page. If you go to the website and you go to our trade partner section, you will find the energy code support and all the trainings that we have posted, upcoming trainings um, that are there to help you to understand and comply with the code. We also have right now two energy code professionals, Steve Spatz and Matt Sharp, who are traveling around the state conducting trainings and also site visits. And this URL code is if you are interested in a code training or having one of them come to one of your build sites to talk about code related issues. This again is being funded right now through a Department of Energy grant. It will run through 2026. We will continue to provide these kinds of services beyond that, but just wanted to make sure you were aware that this is available now, and that you can sign up to have one of them come out to your site to look at your project, go over plans, um, and look at code related issues, or anything else that you need in support of your project. And that is pretty much all I have for our reworked, gut rehabbed RNC program. Um, I'm hoping this, so far we've gotten a lot of good feedback from the building community saying they're excited to see some more substantial incentives on the table, to see us again available to provide technical support, although that's been available all along. It's just that the program structure changes have really not been very conducive for those contact points. And so we're really wanting to reestablish our working relationships with those of you that are already in the EEN, or those of you who are interested in working with us. Please join on, because we really want to help you have really successful projects, have happy customers, and build really good homes. So again, I'm the program manager here. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to jump on a call to go into any more details. Bryn can help you get set up joining the network, either the RNC trade group or the architect trade group, or and also go through all the requirements and benefits of being in the EEN.
Yep,
I don't know if
exactly.
anything you want to add to that, Bryn.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Just want to again encourage the opportunity to have a site visit. RB's basically one-on-one technical support, free technical support. We have grant funding for that right now. And we're able to support kind of at any stage of construction, pre-construction, construction, post-construction, project closeout, anything along those lines that might be helpful. Because there's code that comes up at each of those stages. So, please reach out. We want to make sure that we're able to schedule that and get out, either coordinate a virtual visit or ideally come out to the project site. So there's flexibility there. Just let us know. Just reach out. And one thing for RNC EN members, we do have quarterly builder calls. So those are usually about 45 minutes to an hour. It's the last month of the quarter, so we'll have our RNC call next month in June. You'll get reminder emails for that when it comes up. And we are going to have a guest speaker this next month, and we try to do that as well as make sure that we're providing high content, valuable content for you and for your projects and for your team. So we hope to see you there.
Yep. And if you have any content that you're interested in related to our program for those calls, please let us know. So we really want to cater those calls to your needs.